What's going on, everyone? Talen here, and welcome to another Marvel Future Fight video. Alright, so in this video here, we're going to be doing a 5 out of 5 clear for Infinity Ultron. So I'm just going to show you 5 teams that I used to get all 5 clears in a single day here. Now that I've kind of played around a little bit more with the fight, it seems quite a bit easier than my first couple attempts that I did. At first, I was kind of frustrated with it, like, how am I supposed to, time my attacks so that I can dodge all of his optimization skills, because a lot of times I was just too dang slow to hit him with a normal attack. But now I've gotten in the habit of just switching characters, which really helps. But anyway, we're going to be doing a 5 out of 5 clear in today's video. First of all, I can show off my cards here, which is nothing too special. Considering that we've had the ability to reforge cards for quite a while now, and I've just been kind of getting very unlucky with that, because a lot of these cards right here that you see, I have, some of the stars actually rolled on. I had to re-roll those quite a few times to actually get the blue stars, so that's so many resources that I've wasted. I could have probably had all 5 of these cards with at least 5 stars awakened if I didn't have to re-roll for those blue stars, or if I didn't re-roll for the blue stars. But anyway, we've got 4% Pierce, so nothing too crazy in the cards here. And then you can see my energy and physical. So that's what I'm working with here. When you kind of see how well my team is doing against Ultron, you can kind of compare your cards. You can compare if you have more Pierce than me or not, if you're able to clear faster, if you're not clearing for some reason. So yeah, those are the cards. Let's go ahead and go back here, pop over to Ultron. So these are going to be the 5 teams that I used. First team is going to be Thena. No surprise there. Thena is a beast, and she's just super strong. And if you have Thena, then you're going to have all of the other Eternals anyway, so you can just go ahead and use this team here. You can get Icarus's leadership with 60%, and then you have Cersei, which is a support for the Eternals. So pretty much just a self-contained team there. Like I said, provided you went ahead and got Thena, which again is quite a big resource sink, so I wouldn't blame you if you didn't have her. Go ahead and show you my build. So we have a CTP of Rage on her, which most of the characters I used, have a CTP of Rage on. So she's got that. She's got a few Odin's Blessings, some Mythic Urus in there as well. We've got a fully awakened Overdrive on her. We have a 3-star version of her artifact. Uniform is just sitting at advanced. I need to work on that a little bit more. And here are her details. So that's Thena for team 1 as the main DPS. Oh, and for all these teams, I'm just going to be using 1 DPS. So it's not like I'm going to be switching between characters to kind of spread out the damage. All the teams I use is just with a single character as DPS. And then for team 2 here, we have Silk as our DPS. And for this team, I actually have 2 supports here, because Wave is a support and Sif is also a support as well, because she has the passive that increases damage against boss type enemies. Wave has a 25% leadership, is why I was using her. But this is actually one of the last clears I did, even though I'm going over it as team 2 in the video here. And originally, I was actually trying to make this team work as Sif being the main DPS, but it wasn't working, so I had to find a replacement. And I was like, you know what? Let's go with Silk, because I like Silk and I wanted to see if she was able to do it, because she's really strong in the other World Boss Legends. So that's why I decided to choose her. Here is her build. You can see fully awakened, Power of Angry Hulk, and she has a CTP of Energy on her. So she's the only one on this list here that has CTP of Energy. Uniform is at Mythic, and here are her details. And then the next team over here is with Supergiant, and I just wanted to make Supergiant work because I really like Supergiant. Actually, no, that means Sif isn't the one with the only one with CTP of Energy, right? Because Supergiant has one? Oh no, did I put a... Well, we'll check in a minute. I've already forgotten if I swapped out Supergiant's energy for a Judgment. I might have given her a Judgment, but we have Doctor Strange here because we get energy attack and ignore dodge, and ignore dodge is actually pretty nice in this fight here. And then we have Valkyrie right there for ignore dodge as well. And for these 2 teams right here that don't have, well, actually, no, Silk has built-in ignore dodge, but with Thena here, we've got 3 dodge ignore strikers. So if you don't see any dodge ignore on the teams here, my strikers are going to be taking care of that. And then our build for Supergiant here, oh, I don't have any Urus on her. I need to fix that, because I like using Supergiant, and I haven't finished her ISO 8 set. Wow. Okay, I have a few things I need to take care of here. And I did give her a judgment. Okay, so I did swap out her energy for judgment, and uniform is at legendary, and here are her details. Okay, and then the fourth team that we used here is with Luna. I guess no surprise there. Of course, Luna should be able to do this. We have her Andromeda suit. And then again, leadership here. We're trying to get ignore dodge wherever we can. Got ignore dodge from the leader, and we have ignore dodge from White Fox. So that means I don't necessarily need to take any dodge ignore strikers. So that's kind of the compromise that I've been doing there. And then we've got some Odin's or some Urus on her, no Odin's blessings. And then we've got fully awakened power of Angry Hulk. I do have her artifact. I kind of forgot about that. So we've got her 3-star artifact, and then we have ACTP of Rage on her with, oh yeah, just a normal uniform. I forgot because she's paywall, so I don't have any of her bios. And then here are her details. And then the final team that we used is going to be with Psylocke. So here we have Psylocke, and then her details are going to be right here. We've got some Urus, fully awakened overdrive. I don't have her artifact, and we have a CTP of Judgment on her with a uniform at legendary. Here are her details. So now let's go ahead and hop into the fights, and I can show all of these teams in action. Alright, so here we are loading into our first fight. So this is going to be the clear with Thena. I've already done this clear once before because Thena is the character that I used when I beat Ultron basically for the first time, when I did that first video, going into the fight blind without knowing any of the mechanics. So we're going to be doing our first clear again with her here, and Thena is she's just really good for this fight because she has very short skill animations, so she can kind of just pop that 2 and the 4th skill, and we get all of that kind of extra residual attacks that just sit there, and that'll keep him from optimizing, which is really good. And because the skill is so short for the second skill, when he's doing some of those unblockable attacks during this phase right here, like if he's raining down like those spears from the sky or anything like that, you can just run past him, pop the second skill, and then continue running, and you still don't get hit by any of that stuff. So she's just really good for the first phase. Like right here, like you can run up to him and just hit the second skill. I don't know if I do it this run here. Yeah, so you just hit the second skill, and then you just continue going, and yeah, he can't really do anything about it. Prevents him from building up more of the optimization during that phase. And I mean, most characters can't really do that because you need to have a very short skill animation, something you can just pop like that and then run away and have it still be doing damage even when you're not close by. So again, not something that's going to be available for every character, but it's something that just makes the fight a little bit easier if you have Thena here, and her damage is just insane. As you can see, she's kind of just flying through this. And that attack right there, I mean, I basically just always tank that attack because it seems to only bring you down to like, what, 20% HP, so it's not something that'll one-shot you, which is really nice. So you don't have to worry about trying to dodge that. But once he's in optimization phase, of course, you are going to need to dodge that because then he will time freeze you and just insta-kill you. Oh, I think, no, this is the attack I was talking about. The other one was standing in the circle where he's going to land. But the one where it's got like the purple circle right underneath him and then a ring where you can stand and then another purple area afterwards, that one will not one-shot you. But as you can see, my health is pretty low, so if I do get hit by anything else, then I am going to be in big trouble here. And then we have these little jet beams right here, which they're kind of annoying to deal with because, I don't know, for some reason sometimes I get like really turned around during that. That happens a lot with like kind of like pattern things. For some reason my brain just like switches sometimes with the pattern, and it's just all of a sudden it's like, whoa, I can't think, I can't concentrate. It might be because I do have dyslexia, so sometimes like when I'm reading, it's really hard for me to read because letters kind of switch around into words, so the word looks like, I'm like, what is that word? And then I have to look at it again. I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. And I think that happens to me when things go like that, like circular motions. But the really easy way to deal with that is you just go where the first purple line is. Oh, I get really lazy right here. I'm like, you know what? I just want to do damage to you, and I kind of, yeah, got caught right there. But I'm like, you know what? I don't feel like redoing this. We're at half a bar. The rest of you guys can finish this. I'm like, Icarus, go. He's like, I got this. Let me do a whole 0.5% of damage here for that bar. I was hoping he'd do more, so I just go spamming skills. I'm like, whatever. You know what? We'll let Cersei do this. Yeah, so here we go, and then she will just finish the job for me, and there we go. I was just too lazy to restart that, but Thena, I mean, she did all the work, because I'm going to have these clears as just the 1 DPS. So Thena, there we go. Nice, easy clear with Thena. So if you have her, I think you should be good, especially like I had mentioned at the beginning. If you have her unlocked, you're going to have the rest of the Eternals also transcended, or in Icarus's case at tier 3. So you can use that full team, and you're just kind of have your self-inclusive team right there. So here we have the clear with Silk. And this clear actually went really bad. It's just, I did not feel like re-recording it. Not all of these fights were first try, so I did all of these fights in like the same sitting. I was just kind of laying in bed one night and I just started recording on my phone, so that's why I'm doing this voiceover after the fact, because I was just laying there recording, so I wasn't, you know, commentating or doing anything like that. Most of the fights I would say took me, well, except for the Thena one. The Thena one was first try, and I just didn't want to redo that. The Silk one here, on this take me 4 tries. I think this was the 4th try that I did with her, but it's because I just kept dying from like the optimization and stuff. So that was the main thing why I would have to like retry, is I just kind of wasn't paying attention during the optimization phase and I just get one-shotted. But this phase right here, why I say it's really bad, is because I miss so many damage procs. Like, I miss a good like 40 to 50% of my damage procs on here, because I do have that CTP of energy on Silk here. It's not a rage, so I can't just spam skills and be okay. And I just keep accidentally procking too early. So yeah, that's kind of why this clear is bad, is just because she could have done this a lot quicker. So I kind of feel bad making Silk look worse than she actually is, because she could have done this like a good minute quicker, I think, than what I was putting up here, if I had managed to actually hit my damage procs. And also, one thing that is kind of annoying with Ultron here is he has a lot of movements around the map, so he kind of dashes around a lot. Oh yeah, I switched there because I was in the skill animation I couldn't get out, and then look at that. The nice little, listen to those spears. I don't remember what they called the spear hazard, but the spear hit me, we got stunned, and whoop, we lost Sif. I mean, that's fine. Luckily we had switched, because we had lost Silk. I would have had to restart here. But yeah, you can see how much different the damage is when I actually get the proc to go off correctly. It's the difference between like, you know, 1 bar versus like 5 bars or something like that. So yeah, that's why I could have definitely gone a lot quicker. Is he gonna get to the optimization here? Oh no, not quite. We managed to get some skills off. And that's one thing, like for Silk here, you kind of have a delay between her skill rotation, because you just want to do the 3-4-5 and just do 3-4-5 over and over. So you don't really want to do skills in between because of the cooldown time, because then you'll trigger your proc early, and that would be bad. And this, yeah, for that attack right there, when he's in the optimization phase, I almost always have to switch characters, because he always seems to like go to the other side of the map, and I don't have enough movement speed to actually run over there fast enough. Because I've tried, I've like beelined it for the circle, and like 90% of the time my character is just physically too slow to get over there in terms of just their movement speed. So I just have to switch characters, and I don't know if that's just me not being too familiar with that particular optimization. I don't know if there's a queue that's going to show where he lands before he actually makes the whole area into the purple, you know, the purple field, and then you have the 1 circle you can land in. I don't know if he telegraphs where that opening is actually going to be before he starts jumping towards that, but every time he always does that, you know, at least half a map or more of distance away from my character, and I had to switch there because I got stuck in a bad place. But luckily the switch works really good for this optimization phase, because you have to hit him 3 times to do that. And as you can see, I can already switch back to Silk here. So, you know, the downtime for switching characters is actually doesn't really hurt you very much at all. And there we go, 35 seconds left. Like I said, she could have done a lot quicker, so I did miss a lot of damage procs. So that's going to be the clear with Silk. Again, we have 2 supports with her. At 25% leadership, so yeah, she kind of had quite a bit of help there, but I still think that she can clear that with 1 support if I had played better. So now we have the Supergiant clear. So Supergiant was actually the first clear that I did, because I started off the attempts at beating Ultron here 5 out of 5 with Sif, because I kind of wanted to make Sif work. That didn't really go too well. She just didn't quite have enough damage. She kept, yeah, just kind of timing out, so it wasn't necessarily a survivability issue. She just didn't quite seem to have enough damage. I'm gonna have to try again, because for some reason, every time I was using Sif, like, Ultron would go into this phase, like, halfway through where he would literally take, like, no damage, and I have no idea why that happened, but like, my damage numbers would literally go away. Like, you wouldn't see any of those white numbers popping up. It would only be the blue numbers for the instinct damage. Is that what it was called again? Yeah, the instinct damage. And I don't know what triggered that. If that was a glitch, if there's something I have to do to prevent that from happening, because I don't remember it really happening with any of these other characters that I got the clears with. Like, even on the failed attempts, I don't really remember that happening. I only remember it happening with Sif. So I'm just not sure what was triggering that. But anyway, after I had come to the conclusion that I wasn't going to be able to beat it with her, Supergiant here was the next one I decided to try with, because I was like, alright, well, Sif doesn't have enough damage, so which characters do I have that actually do have enough damage? So I was like, let's start with Supergiant, because I like Supergiant. I know she can do a lot of damage, and yeah, Supergiant was able to definitely do more than enough damage. It took me like, I don't know, I think 3 tries with Supergiant to get it. I had like 2 failed runs, and then we got it right here on the 3rd one, I believe. Because it took me a total of, if we don't count all of the attempts with Sif, it took me like 35 or 40 minutes to get all of these clears. So not too bad, considering this was just right after I had beaten Ultron for the very first time. So again, this is still me being relatively new to the fight, but I was getting comfortable enough where, as you can see, I just spam skills for the most part, because I was starting to get a little better idea of when I needed to dodge attacks. And when he does something like that, so right there, he was starting to do the purple attack where he rains down the kind of single spear from the sky really slowly, but he had finished the optimization. So if he finishes the optimization, no matter what attack he's doing, he will cancel that attack. So that's why I decided to start doing attacks right there. Like, I started using skills again, because I knew that those spears were not going to be raining down anymore, even though he hadn't technically finished the attack that he would normally do for his, like, rotation. So yeah, you can get a little bit of extra damage in there if you're comfortable doing that. But now again, I switched here, and the more I've been playing this fight, the more I don't mind switching there, because as I mentioned earlier, you have plenty of time for your cooldown to go, you know, to be up for the, what is it, 8 seconds when you switch, 7 seconds. That 7 seconds will go by really quickly when you're just dodging Ultron's attacks. So you're always going to have, well, pretty much always going to have your main DPS ready for once you get that 3rd hit in and break him out of the optimization. So you shouldn't really be too afraid to switch there because you think you might be wasting time or something like that, or you're, you know, it's going to slow you down, because it won't. And a lot of these fights, with how long this optimization is, I'm like, is it better to just like sacrifice a character right here so I don't have to dodge these 3 times, like just for like the first attack that he does, just purposely get hit so that he just one-shots a character, and then I can go back to just doing damage with my main DPS. Something I might want to try out, but then you don't have that cushion for if you know, your main DPS is your last character and he gets into an optimization phase, you don't have a switch to kind of get you out of trouble, and that could be a problem. But that was Supergiant. Supergiant was a very easy clear. She just did more than enough damage, so I'd say Supergiant is definitely a standout. pick for doing this fight here. And now we're moving on to Luna. So I decided to use Luna because I know, you know, most people are going to have Luna at tier 3 just because she's been in the game so long. She's always been a really popular tier 3 because there's other characters I was looking at trying, but the characters that you see in this video are basically all the characters that I've tried so far against Ultron outside of Sif. She was the only other one. So I haven't necessarily tried any of my other characters that I have built up yet. Actually, no, I tried Odin a few times, but Ultron's like movements around the field kept making it so I wasn't able to actually use Odin's skills. Like I'd use the 5th skill and then it'd be stuck in that animation because Ultron would move just far enough away where I couldn't trigger another skill. So that happened so often that I just wasn't doing enough damage. So that's just something where I need to get a little more familiar with the fight with Ultron so I know when to actually start using the skills so that I can stay closer to him. So that's something I'll have to, you know, practice a little bit. Oh, I got hit there, and oh wait, this was a... Well, let's get back to this point. I don't remember recording a failed run here. I need to start looking through the footage a little more before I do this, because like I said, I was just laying on my bed recording this one night. So I guess on some of the clears before I deleted the file because I had a failed run, when I did have a good run, sometimes I had a short beginning there with the fail. But yeah, we're back at where we left off, so we didn't really miss anything here because she's pretty much going to get to the point at around the same amount of time unless I was missing a lot of procs, which I don't think I was. And there's not necessarily procs because I have a rage on Luna here. But anyway, back to the fight here. As you can see, Luna is, yeah, she's doing more than enough damage. But we do have a really good team here for her because we have Spectrum with the 36% ignore dodge. And then we have White Fox here that gives us chain hit damage and what is it, 15, 20, or 30? I cannot remember how much ignore dodge she actually gives. It was 15%, I think, chain hit, so 30% ignore dodge. So we've got 60, over 60 ignore dodge just from that. I don't have any ignore dodge strikers, but yeah, a lot of that helping out Luna here. But again, she's just easy to use here because she does have some skills where you can get lingering damage. She has some short animation skills like the first skill. When he's doing some of the optimization or some of the purple attacks in the first half of the fight when he's not optimizing, you can run past him with the first skill because you have movement with the first skill, and then you can continue on your way and you shouldn't get hit by the attack. Because the main one where you're going to want to do that is just when he's doing the spears, like the multiple spears from the sky, just because that's such a long animation. You can basically build up his whole optimization bar during that actual skill. So if you run past him and use the first skill with Luna, you can help mitigate that a little bit because then you'll get some damage there. Maybe you'll trigger some of your strikers, which will also help to reduce the optimization bar. So yeah, Luna's also a really good pick for this fight. Kind of like the main takeaway is characters that have like short, yeah, I just did the first skill right there because I didn't really want to use a normal attack. I was like, you know what, let's just do that. I switched right there because for this attack, when he dashes across the screen, you have to be about half a map's worth of distance from him, or else even if you're running the opposite direction, he still seems to move quick enough to clip you before you can get out of the way of the attack. So that's kind of one thing that I've noticed is if you're relatively close to him, just switch characters and then start dodging it. But there we go. That is going to be the Luna clear. Again, this was another one that was relatively easy. So pretty much all the characters here have been pretty easy clears. So I'm going to have to look at some of the other characters in my roster to see who else might be able to do this, and maybe someone that's, you know, cutting it a little closer than these guys, because these guys seem to be doing this pretty handedly, at least for me. And now we have Psylocke here. So Psylocke, yeah, she just does some pretty insane damage with this new uniform here, and I also have a CTP of Judgment on her, so I don't have to worry about lining up the procs because she can work just fine with like a CTP of Energy or just a regular damage proc. It's just you have to be very, precise with your timings and when you cancel your skills. And a lot of the things that were getting me in trouble with this fight here in terms of keeping my damage up is when Ultron started moving across the oh, we got hit there, moving across the screen, because he'd get out of the way of my 4th skill when I have those clones that appear, because those clones actually provide a pretty significant amount of damage when you combine them with the 5th skill. So if he runs out of the way of those clones, then your damage starts to go down very noticeably. So you want to try to keep him in place and make sure that, yeah, all those clones right there making those slashes actually hit him. But as you can see here, I'm a little bit off on my rotation now, and that's mainly just because she has a 8 and 9 second cooldown on her 4th and 5th skill. So that makes it so my rage keeps getting more and more out of line, so that it starts triggering before like the skills are even ready. So the rage will be ending right when I have my skills available to start doing the rotation. And the reason that I'm not really like delaying my skills is because I'm trying to prevent him from optimizing. So that's the thing that hurts Psylocke here, is you need to keep doing damage because you want to keep hitting him so you can minimize the amount of times he optimizes, because optimization just is such a big time sink. It just wastes so much time dodging those attacks and then hitting him, that you want to try to do everything in your power to make sure that you keep hitting him just to prevent the bar from filling up. But for Psylocke here, when I have a rage, as you can see, that just makes it so my rage gets so far out of sync that I start doing my whole skill animation and the rage never activates during that time. Oh, I did get hit here. I was switching because I was like, you know what, I don't feel confident about dodging these attacks right now. So it's a good thing that I switched to Cyclops there. Just go ahead and sacrifice him. Alright, so now we're moving. We got 6 bars left, so again with that attack, I need to watch that back. Did he telegraph where he was going to land before he jumped? Like I said though, as you can see, I'm already ready to switch back to Psylocke, so it wasn't a big deal, but if it's something that I can get a hold of or get the hang of better. And right here, why are we doing such a little amount of damage? Kind of weird. I feel like we should have been doing quite a bit more damage than that. I was just saving the awakening skill there because I knew he was going to go into this skill or the optimization phase before I could probably have that skill animation play out long enough to kill him. So we're going to have to do this one more time here. Go up and punch and kick him. Switch. I think we just use the awakening skill here. And then that should be all she wrote. And there we go. And a minute and a half left. So that was actually one of the quicker clears here with Psylocke again. Really fun character to use. Just a few things in terms of keeping up the hits, which is the issue with Psylocke here, because it just gets you out of sync with the rage so easily, and that's just a huge loss of damage. But that's the clear with Psylocke, so hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you've got 5 teams that you use to clear Ultron yet, if you're still trying to find what characters work for you. I'll probably be trying out a few more characters on my roster, or at least I'll be trying out all the characters that I have like rages on, energies on, judgments on, just to see what kind of damage they do. But this is just my first 5 out of 5 clear here, so let me know if you want to see more Ultron content or more different characters or anything like that. But that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed, and of course I will catch you in the next one.